Our next guest oversees what some see as a ghost ship, but actually it's much more than that. Here to bring us up to speed about the USS Batfish is Brent Trout. Brent, good to have you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, this is really interesting stuff. A submarine museum right here in Oklahoma.
It's a golden opportunity to educate about the sacrifice of the silent service. It's amazing, and most people don't realize it's in Oklahoma.
No, they don't. And I've met very few submariners in my life. How did we get it here?
Well, it's going to take a long series of these to explain that, but the short end of it is we took it up from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up the Mississippi River, Arkansas River, and they put it right in at Muskogee. So Muskogee has an inland port that's really valuable to Oklahoma's economics. We can ship things all the way to the Great Lakes, all the way to the Gulf from Muskogee. So it was kind of a way to demonstrate how powerful this port was, and it was a good PR move by the state to do it while also honoring the veterans that served in the submarine service.
Wouldn't you love to have been a fly on the boat of a fisherman who saw that submarine for
It's
the
funny
first
you mention
time?
that, because when I always explain this to kids, I say, you know, there was a fisherman sitting in a boat and this submarine goes by, and that guy was probably drinking some bush beer back in the day, and he probably gave a look to his beer, was like, And I actually have videos of people that were there when it happened, and watching this boat go up the river was just amazing. You know, it gathered a bunch of people to watch it. I mean, it's not something you get to see every day.
No. When did the Batfish Sea Service?
All the way from 1943 until really 1969. I mean, it was in and out of service throughout World War II, the Korean War, and then it served as a training vessel, training the next generation of submariners. So it had 26 years of service. Probably
Very harsh service. And I guess we need to go to the end. Why did they take it out?
Well, it's a money thing. So it was a World War II diesel electric boat, and basically it became, when we were doing all the upgrades and all the modifications to them, upgrading the Batfish was going to cost around $14 million. Building a new boat at that point was going to be basically $12 million. So the government looks at it from there you go, $2 million saved, let's go ahead and scrap it.
Scrap the Batfish.
And also they scrapped it because they were building the second Batfish, the 681, which was famous because the original Batfish had all these different feats and deeds they did, so they gave them exclusive technology. Some say they had orders under the president. We can't confirm that yet because of classifications, but it was a significant boat as well.
You know, I've got to get back down there. The first time and the only time I've had a chance to go through it was back 79 or 80, right in there. So I know there have been many improvements and changes.
I hope so, because if you can't tell an improvement from then I'm not doing my job correctly.
I got to ask you. Have you ever been there alone and hear things you couldn't explain?
You know, I want to pretend like I'm a manly man and say, no such thing. But yes, and I'll tell you a funny story regarding this. So me and my assistant, Johnny Childress, we work down there a lot by ourselves at night after hours. After hours is when we can do a lot of our maintenance and improvements. And I saw someone who I thought got locked in the submarine. So I ran after them just to see how they were doing. And all of a sudden, they just disappeared. It was a shadowy figure. And so I'm not going to reveal my inner feelings about ghosts to anyone. So I'm sitting there, and Johnny brings up one day, he's like, you ever seen anything down there? I'm like, no, have you? And he tells me the same thing. And I go, man, you're crazy. But I know deep down inside, he wasn't crazy. We both saw the same
I'm not
thing.
at all surprised. What little secrets have you found? I mean, if I were brought in as executive director, I'd want to explore every nook and cranny.
I will tell you, there's so much. Every time I go through the submarine at least 10 to 20 times a day, and every time I go down there, I find something I've never noticed before. There's just every inch was used. You could not waste an inch there. And my favorite discovery in the most recent months, I was doing some maintenance, and we thought we had some trash that was underneath a bench. And so we picked it up, and it was all crumbled up, so we kind of just put it off to the side. I went through it and realized it was a chicken menu from New Orleans back when the submarine was actually a training vessel. And so the keepers of the Batfish, the guys who watched it on base overnight, they were ordering chicken from a local chicken place.
No kidding.
And so we have this menu right here, and I go, wow. So you can look it up, it's gone. Apparently it had great reviews on Yelp, though.
How many people would have been assigned the Batfish when she was
Depends on at what point in the war. So beginning of the war, you're looking around 65 sailors, and then at the end of the war, you're having 88. So anytime you add a piece of equipment, you have to add 3 sailors because it is 3 shifts on there. You're active for 4 hours, you're off for 8 hours. So, and I tell people this all the time. They go, "You only have to work for 4 hours?" And I go, "Yeah, but you're off for 8. You have to sleep, you have to learn, you have to eat, all in that 8 hours." So after the war, they realized that World War II submariners were sleep deprived, so they actually changed that around to 612. But 88 men, sometimes you'd have guests. There's some boats that rescue POWs that they ended up having 200 on board. It was, there's not enough space for, I consider, about 20 people on there.
Was she under fire?
Of course. I mean, it wouldn't be cool if it wasn't. So Batfish was under fire several times. It actually had an opportunity to sink the largest vessel in the world at the time, the Yamato.
Really?
Yeah, and the skipper wisely decided not to. They were coming up on it. This is a large battleship. Everyone assumes the Bismarck was the largest ship. This was almost about 70% larger than the Bismarck.
It's a monster.
Oh yeah, and so all the men on board are like, "Let's take this bad boy down." And the skipper says, "If we reveal ourselves, we are going to die. We're not going to do this." So he dove and followed it. And ironically enough, he lost the morale of the crew at that point, which was just a doom for his position.
I'd never heard that story before. I'd never heard that story. In fact, I thought it was only used for training.
Oh no, the Batfish was, it's famous for sinking 3 Japanese submarines in 76 hours, a feat that has never been done before.
No kidding.
Yeah, and it still won't to this day. I always offer the kids who come out for school groups, if it's ever done again, I'll give you $1. So if it's ever done again, you'll never find me again. I'll be out of state. I'll be hiding on an island somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah, because I owe a lot of dollars out there in that case.
Unable to locate. Well, it begs the question as we sit here and look at the video and we hear you talk about it, what's the tourism flow like?
When I first got there, it was the redheaded stepchild of Oklahoma tourism. And it was really sad to see the state of this war memorial park. And this is not a disservice to the previous curators. It was kind of we have this submarine there, we kind of forgot about it. And so we've been doing a lot of marketing, a lot of revitalization. We started our overnight program, so we do overnights every weekend. And I'll tell you, it's fun for us. It's the most fun as they're having there. We get to give extended tours, take people into areas you don't get to go into. We do ghost hunts. We've already upped our visitation by 100%, and we continue to move forward. And so we're looking for other ways to bring people in, bring other attractions in. And we're working closely with Muskogee, the city of Muskogee Chamber of Commerce and Tourism to continue forth with that. And especially with having other tourist organizations in town. Muskogee has 5 museums. It's amazing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's lots to do in Muskogee. Almost too much to do because I got to do all the stuff.
I don't get around much. I leave here, I go home and sit in the closet.
Well, they don't let me leave Muskogee, so I'm happy to be here today. I got a little break from Muskogee.
You ever have any former submariners come in or any guys that ever served on the Batfish?
My favorite times is when we have other submariners come in, and I love it. So we have Batfish guys come in from time to time. So the Batfish, like I said, has served for 26 years. So you have a wide generation of folks coming in that were on the Batfish. And then the second Batfish was commissioned from 72 to 99. So those guys come in to pay tribute to the original Batfish. And when you meet these guys, it is beautiful. So the Batfish still has a smell from 100,000 gallons of diesel on board. So when you go in and you're smelling diesel, salt water, hydraulic fluid, basically what we call America. And these guys go in there and they get intoxicated from it. They come out and they're 20 years old again, running through hatches and telling stories they shouldn't tell to their wives, all those fun things. And I just love watching it. And I would tell you the most beautiful thing about my position is watching a submariner that's, a World War II submariner meet a Vietnam one, meet a modern day one. And they're brothers. They may not even know each other. I've seen it several times where I'm like, how did you know this guy? I just met him here about 5 minutes ago. I'm like, you guys sound like your family. We are, because we survived the same thing. We went through the same thing.
What's the cost to get in to see it?
$7 for an adult. If you're a senior, a student, if you're retired, it's $5. If you're a child, it's $4. If you're under 7, it's free. It's very affordable for a lot of attractions, compared to that. So when we do overnight programs, it starts at $250 for a party of 10, upwards to $25 per
I was
person.
going to ask
after
you
that.
that. What do you mean by overnight? What are we talking?
You sleep on the bunks in the same room that the men sleep on.
No
So
kidding.
you get the closest experience you can get without a time traveling machine. And it's fun. It's also the best sleep you'll ever get. Once you can turn the lights off if you want. It's like a sleep deprivation chamber. you won't hear anything, except the ghost, or not, depending on you. It could be a squirrel.
I love it. I love it. And you want to plug your phone number while we're at it?
Yeah, we're 918-682-6294, warmemorialpark.org. We're also on Facebook. And you can always email us at info@warmemorialpark.org. We love talking to people. Come by and see us. We'd love to show off.
Open on Sundays?
We're open on Sundays from 1 to 5 right now. We have winter hours and then we have summer hours. So we're in our winter hours right now, but we're open.
Well, begs the question, air conditioning in the summer?
Yes, it is. I wouldn't personally go on it if it wasn't. So,
A lot of folks want to say, I don't want to go in that thing.
you know, unfortunately, it wasn't air conditioned for many years, so a lot of people still think that it's just an oven in there. And I can tell you, I fixed the air conditioner when it's broken in there. It is an oven in there. So I want to salute everyone who's made it through without air conditioning. You guys are much braver than me, but come out because it's air conditioned now.
Hey, Brent, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, you're going to see my face. I'm going to come down and haunt you myself.
Please do.
We're out of time, buddy. We'll have you back. Hey, that's all the time we have for this segment of Perspectives. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. The mariners who serve...